Hi everyone, so this is the first Excel video of many to come. I am going to be narrating some of my own videos as well as finding others online that I hope will help everyone gain a better understanding of Excel. For this specific episode, we are going to keep it to an introduction of Excel. We will be explaining the ribbon and where things are, as well as some basic things that everyone should understand before starting to use Excel. The first thing you'll notice is on the top, this is all these tabs. It's a new thing that Microsoft has incorporated into their programs. It's called the ribbon. Before, we used to have the drop-down menu, sort of like these. But now instead we have these tabs that change the headers. So let's start off by creating a new worksheet. To start off, you have to click on the Microsoft symbol up on the top left. And when you click on it, you'll see that this is also where you can find where to save, where to open new documents, where to print and close, and where to create a new one. So let's create a new one. I'd ask you if you want to create a blank workbook. So everything in Microsoft Excel is a workbook. Let's create a new one. Workbooks are basically the main files, and as you see on the bottom, there is sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Sheets are the pages that contain all the data and information that you put into Excel, while all the sheets reside in a workbook. As you'll notice in the sheets, there are lots of cells that are inside. Each one of these individual boxes are cells. You'll notice that the top are labeled with alphabets, A, B, C, D, and the sides are labeled with numbers. The alphabets represent each individual column. As you see, when you click on, let's say, B, a column will be highlighted straight down. And as you notice on the left, the numbers represent the rows. Now, where the rows and the columns intersect, as you'll see, row 5 intersected with column C. This is what we call the cell. The cell is where we input all our data. And as you can see on the top left over here, it labels the name. The name is C5, which happens to be the intersection of the column and the row. The little white box next to it over here, this is where you'll find the information that you've entered. As you see, when you click on this cell, it'll show up right there what you have inside, and you can always click anywhere in this and decide to change it. Now, you'll notice that in the cell, it's useful because you can input anything. As you just saw, I inputted a sentence. You can input a date. You can input just a number. Oops. That's something that we'll teach later about formatting. Let's just do a currency then. But you can input pretty much anything you want. So let's start with the first tab. The first tab is called Home. In the Home tab, you'll notice that you'll find a lot of things that pertain to formatting. These formatting options are mainly for cells, for the cells and text that are put inside of the cells. If you hold your cursor long enough over one of the buttons, like let's say for example bold, if you hold it long enough, you'll see a little box pop up, and the pop-up box will show you if it has a hotkey, and if it does, it'll show you. So for bold, it's Control and B. You go to underline, it's Control and U. These are shortcuts that you can use to do things quicker instead of having to go back to the tab and clicking on a button. On the next tab, you'll see it's called Insert. And Insert tab is where you'll find a lot of the things that you can add into your workbook. For example, if you wanted to add a chart, the chart would be a visual diagram of your collected data. You can insert hyperlinks. You can insert even pictures or art pieces. And one of the more important things is you can input tables. Afterwards, you'll see we have the page layout. This is pretty much where you can go about changing the margin of the sheets, the print area, the background, basically a lot of things to do with how to set up your specific sheet to certain dimensions. It's also where you can choose to have, as you see over here, grid lines. Grid lines are all these light blue lines that run across your sheet. You can always turn them on and off, which is somewhat useful in times. And mainly, you can also decide if you want to print them or not. It's set to default to when you print. It won't print any grid lines. It'll just print blank. But you could always turn that on if you choose. The next tab is the Formulas tab, and this tab is actually really important because this is where you'll find help for most of your function-related issues. You can come here to search for functions that you want to use, and also you can come here to troubleshoot the errors of your functions. And as you notice on the side over here, it says in the tab, in the ribbon, there's a function library. You'll see that there are many categories here. There's AutoSum, there's recently used, which are just the ones that you just recently used. There's financial, logical, text, date and time. If you click more, there's just so many other other functions that are available for you, like math and trigonometry. And you'll slowly learn more about these in the coming weeks, because they are actually quite an integral part of Excel. So the next tab is the Data tab. This is pretty much where you can go to either import data or manage your new data. One of the most important buttons in here would definitely be the sort and the filter. These are extremely useful for when dealing with data, and they'll be covered in the coming weeks as well. The next tab is the Review tab, and under here you'll just find your normal spelling, spell check. If you want to leave comments on a sheet, you can find those here as well. And most importantly, if you ever want to protect or need to unprotect a worksheet, they're right over here as well. Lastly, the last tab is the View tab. This tab I don't really use it, but it's here just in case you need to make sure that your pages. If you click Page Layout, it'll show you, for example, that we only go up to I on this sheet. So if any column past I will probably not fit on the page. So it's useful to check where your sheet resides. And as you notice, when I go back to normal, it actually has the page break line in here. And if you scroll down, if I scroll down, yes, it doesn't show. Oh, wait, it should show. Let's see. Here you go. See, the bottom also shows where the end of the page is. So it's on row 47, column I. That's the range of range of my page. So that pretty much sums up just the brief introduction of Excel. A couple things to note is that A lot of these new a lot of these tabs have information on there that are important to us. So it's useful for people just to go through them and sort of get an idea of where everything is. Just fool around yourself, sort of get an idea of what is there, and you can press on the buttons. You can type things. Like let's type 10,000. You can type things and fool around and see what the formattings do, or you can check out formulas if you like. Just fool around a little, and one by one we'll be showing you how everything works. Yep. All right. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.